right, welcome back to Top 5 Vinyl, where we show love to vinyl owners. Today I'm here with Goo. How's it going, Goo?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Before we officially get started, I want everybody to like the channel, subscribe, tell your cool friends, all that fun YouTube stuff you guys got to do. With that being said, Goo, I understand you're a multifaceted artist. What do you have going on over there?
Well, I work as a DJ. I'm a radio host. I run a small 45 label. I actually do rap and sing in various bands with a variety of success, let's
Mm.
say that. But I had my share of good shows and good memories so far. And yeah, just trying to live a good life as a father and husband and make all that work all together.
Nice. Before we also get started, behind you, that is an incredible backdrop, sir. How did you acquire all of those vinyl records?
Well, I started collecting records as a pre-teenager when I
Mm,
was probably 11 or 12 in the mid late 80s. And I first acquired a taste in pop and rock music, which I saw on television or my older brother and sister shared with me. I remember the first song that wasn't like a German Schlager song, which I saw on TV regularly, that I liked was Let's Dance by David Bowie.
mm,
And I was quite young when that came out. And the family was always interested in music, so there was music around. And then I first liked bands like Starship and Huey Lewis and the News. I was a big Huey Lewis
mm,
and the News fan.
mm,
And then a new radio station started in my town, and they had a hip hop show.
mm,
And that's kind of how I grew into it.
mm,
And I remember I was 14 when I saw my first hip hop concert, which was Run DMC, Public
mm,
Enemy, and Derek B.
mm,
And I never looked back from
mm.
there. So, and then
Nice.
I had to get all these records, worked
Right.
in record shops, bought collections, and found myself sometimes wondering if I was more of a librarian or a record enthusiast. But through the radio show that I do, I get to share all this music with people who like to listen to what I have to present.
Nice. Now, growing up, I assume there was a record player in the house. Who's the primary listener? Mom, dad? How'd that work?
Oh, it's actually hard to say because I think that even though my dad had the most records and he was listening to jazz, mostly Dixieland and swing, it was more that he was playing music in the basement. He had a
Mm,
small music room where he played guitar and had a little one of those old rhythm machines
mm,
that, and he always liked to do that. And we had a piano in the house. My mother used to play a little piano. And the first times I really remember playing records and enjoying the music that was coming was actually my older sister's birthday party. I think she turned 13 or 14, so I must have been 8 or 9, and everybody dancing in the living room. I
mm,
remember that. And that was kind of like um, the record we kept playing was a 45 she got by an artist called Nina, which some people in the US may remember for 99 Red Balloons or
mm, mm,
99 Luftballons. And that was part of a new German new wave kind of situation.
mm.
And I remember that. And then I got my first records for Christmas. And then later on, I started buying them myself.
Now, when you were buying, uh, throughout your years, do you have like a favorite record store to go to buy?
Yeah, I had to take the bus like 45 minutes
Mm,
to the next bigger city. And there were like two or three record shops that I would continually, if that's a word in English, go to. And they had a good selection of hip hop. And there was like two stores. One I would go to for the new records, and the other one I would go to for used records,
mm,
which helped a lot in the beginning because, of course, I didn't have that much money to buy every record that I wanted.
mm, mm,
But and there was actually now that I'm thinking about it, the main it wasn't really like a mall, but kind of like that situation. And they had actually a vinyl and music store for the older people, for my parents with the jazz and world music and stuff like that. And then they had like a young and hip record store where I
Mm,
would actually buy my first hip hop 12 inches.
okay. And I know before we started, you grabbed two of your vinyl records. Can you show those for us and break
Yes.
that down real quick?
I did two compilations just this year with the German label Unique Records. Let me see that it doesn't. This is the first one. It's called This is DJ's Choice. It's the fourth edition in the series, and I picked 10 of my favorite 45s for this compilation. I'm very proud of it
Mm,
because I think I established it like a DJ set. It's not mixed, but you can listen to it in one way through, and it plays some funk, some soul, some hip hop, and some Latin music. And there's vinyl, CD, and you can stream it and download it.
mm,
And then there's also on Unique Records, second compilation I did. It's called Our Label Records Volume 1, which shows the early beginnings of my 45 label
mm.
that I do with my brother called Our Labor Records.
Nice. All right, cool. And being that this is top five vinyl, before I even ask you to show me your number five, have you seen any of your five live before?
Yes,
How many?
of the five, that's a very good question. Of the five, I saw four.
Mm, okay.
Even though I have to give one a split, my number five, but I will tell you when I show the number
Huh,
five.
okay. All right, cool. Let us see your number five. What is the fifth vinyl record that you have in front of you?
It actually arrived yesterday. The
Hmm.
album's out for a little bit, but the vinyl just arrived now, and it's Common and Pete Rock, The
Mm,
Auditorium, Volume 1. And I
yep.
love this record, like
Hmm.
beginning to end. It's a fantastic record. And to answer your question before, I saw Common live when he did his, I think, Like Water for Chocolate tour here in Germany, in Hamburg. And I saw Pete Rock a couple of years ago doing a DJ set in Hamburg as well.
Mm,
But I never saw Pete Rock and See Us Move live,
right.
unfortunately. But this record is just beginning to end. I mean, there's a few artists from the late 80s and early 90s now coming out with new stuff. I mean, LL Cool J had a great new record out, and Stetsasonic has a great record out. And I just listened to the new MC Light album,
Hmm.
which will hopefully also be on vinyl one day. But this one is just blows me away. Like
Mm,
every track is so great. It's already history
hmm,
to me, like in the best possible way. Not that I
right.
forget about it, but that it's part of music history already. I'm
Mm.
very happy about this record.
Can you show the back of that? What's on the back of that album? I'm curious. Nice picture.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
It's a gatefold, but I didn't take off the shrink wrap yet,
Right.
so there must be a nice picture in the middle as well.
Right. Perfect
I'm
timing too.
sometimes shy to put away the shrink wrap.
Understandable. Understandable. All right, cool. That was your number five. Let's
Hmm.
go ahead and take a look at your number four.
All right, number four is the story to number four is that one of my dear friends called Fox, he used to show me music every now and then from different angles. Like he likes a lot of punk rock music and a lot of guitar music. But then one day he turned me on to a man called Bobby Bland
Mm,
and played me his track Shoes. And then I had one of his records for a while in my collection to play records by Bobby Bland. And I started buying Bobby Bland 45s on eBay
mm,
without listening to them. I just
mm,
bought any Bobby Bland 45 I could get. And then I stumbled across this one, and it features the amazing 36, 52, 36. Am I saying the numbers right? And then I realized, oh, it comes in two covers.
mm,
Like this is from 63. It's a second solo album. And then in 74, they
hmm,
reissued it with a different cover. I had to get both.
mhm,
And used to play the hell out of it when I was DJing for the great intro of the named track. And it's a great album overall. And I just looking it up for today, I found out that there was actually a promo 7-inch box
Hmm.
for this album in '64, I think,
Hmm.
and I really need to get that. But I just found out today. But
Right.
having it with two different covers, I just, it's just something I do.
Yeah, that's
Great
awesome.
album, great artist. I never saw him live.
Okay.
I saw a live DVD once, and it seems like that towards the end of his career, he was struggling with his voice a lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
But great artist, great
So I will
artist.
assume that is the only artist of your five you have not seen perform live. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
All right. Cool. And that was your number
What?
four.
Yeah, yeah, it's accurate. Yeah.
Yep. Let's go ahead and take a look at your number
Yes.
three.
Now, number three is a classic album that most people will know, especially since the group just won their catalog back. This is De La Soul with 3 Feet High and Rising.
Mm,
And this is the original picture disc. That was the first version that I could get my hands on when I was looking for the LP after I saw Me, Myself, and I at a friend's crib watching MTV. We didn't have MTV at my house, but he had it. So I bought the 12-inch because I used to buy a lot of 12 inches back in the day with all the remixes. The late 80s were a very good time for good remixes, especially this record has so many singles as well. And then it just happened that not only was there this picture disc, but right after I bought this picture disc, I found the original 3 Feet High and Rising slip mat, which was
mm,
my first slip mat, and I was trying to be DJ.
mm.
And since the album made such a great impression on me, every time I see a copy, I buy different varieties of that record. You can
Mm.
see the color changes
Right.
sometimes. It's two different German pressings, it's an Italian pressing, and there was a double vinyl later released in the late 90s. So I bought all of these, and they also, the sucker that I am, they got me to buy the
Ah,
7-inch release box. So I
wow.
have a few of these just because
Mm.
it's great.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. So a random question. If
Mhm.
you had to guess, how many vinyl records do you own?
Well, if it's just the 12 inches and the LPs, it's probably about 8 to 9 thousand.
Wow.
And I started to buy a lot of 45s.
Mm.
And so overall, I'm not 100% sure, but it will be around the 1200 mark.
Wow.
Not the 1200, the 12,000 mark, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Wow, it's pretty amazing. All right, cool. So we saw your five, four, and three. Let's take a look at your number two.
Number two is a band that I'm actually friends with now from Japan. They're called Osaka Monorail.
Mm,
This is their very first release, a 12-inch called What It Is, What It Was. And after that, they released a couple of 7 inches that I was given as a birthday gift by a dear friend from France who said, "You have to check this band out." And he
mm,
gave me like four Japan only 45s. And I actually managed to release two 45s of theirs on my own label. And they started working with Unique Records in Düsseldorf. And I got to meet them. I did three of their shows in my hometown. And we've been friends ever since. I just
mm,
saw them this year in London.
mm,
And it's an amazing band. It's, well, not to be unfair, but it's James Brown funk, but it's Japanese guys.
mm,
And they do the whole in their uniforms, they do the moves,
mm,
they do the music, they have original pieces that they write. If you close your eyes, see the band, you believe you're at the Apollo in '69 or something like
mm,
that. It's really,
mm.
really amazing. I can just tell everybody, listen to Saka Monorail.
And what year do you think this was released?
This one was from 2000.
2000.
And
Okay.
then the first 45s were 2001. And they kept putting out albums ever since.
Okay. Gotcha. Nice. And Goo. On to the grand finale. What do we have for number one?
Well, number one, as I told you when we talked before, it's very hard to pick five records. And of
Right.
course, it changes, may change, your top five may change over time, but my number one never changed.
Mm,
And it's my number one since I started listening to hip hop,
mm,
because this album is the greatest album I ever heard.
mm,
And
mm.
there's many albums that are amazingly great, but this is my number one album of all time.
Nice.
Takes a nation of millions to hold us back, Public Enemy. The sequencing, the tracks, the message, the revolution in sound at that time, it's just like I only have this one vinyl copy of this,
Mm,
different than the De La Soul, but I'm buying all the 12 inches, anything I can get. Public Enemy never let me down. And yeah, this is a sure shot number one, probably for many people.
nice. And you've seen them live. Where did you see them live at?
I saw them 88 in 88 in a probably 5,000 capacity hall in my hometown Bremen. I was 14, so they made a big impact. I saw
Mm,
them 2 years later in the same city, and then I kind of had a break of going to live shows and saw them again in 2010, and I think one or two more times after that. The
mm,
last time I saw them was actually Enemy Radio
mm,
because Flavor wasn't there, and they played a concert tour with the Wu-Tang Clan and De La Soul,
mm.
and I saw them in Berlin.
Okay.
And actually, that's when I had afterwards I had that talk with Chuck, which got me to have my show on Rap Station.
That's awesome. Full circle.
Yes, definitely full circle.
Mhm.
It's amazing because um, I always keep telling these things, and sometimes I feel like I may be annoying to people. But well, life is short.
Right.
It's the if I imagine that when I was 14, that in this year now somebody could go up to Chuck D and say, "Do you know Goo?" He'd be like, "Yeah, I know Goo." And that's probably about it. But still,
Right.
that's like Christmas, birthday, and Easter
Ah,
at once for me. So I'm
that's
very
funny.
happy about how things evolved. And as a lesson for everybody, just give it time. Never give up on your dream.
Absolutely. 1,000%. Well, Goo, I want to thank you so much for your time. It's been fun talking to you, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you very much, sir.
Of
Talk soon.
course. Have a good one.